Welcome everybody to The Candle Enthusiast. I am your host, Shane Carlson, and this is my secondary channel, Aromatically Speaking. This is the future home of all of my future candle content, a place where we sit down, just you and I, and we talk about candles. We break them down, a little bit of sensory evaluation, but it's also a place where we host lives, mainly on Sunday. I just filmed a video on 2020's Bath & Body Works Easter fragrances. I just filmed the video on Somebody Loves You, and absolutely quite an impressive candle, as long as sweet treats is your deal. But we have two other fragrances here that we need to talk about, including Spring Has Sprung Easter Bouquet. So Spring is Sprung, Easter Bouquet being the name of the fragrance. And on this jar, we have this, I don't know if we want to call this mid-century, maybe this more dips into the 70s, even maybe late 70s, early 80s, but this decorative design of florals and vegetation, almost like gold leafing on this label. Of course, we have the little bunny. On the top, we have this embossed or 3D textured lid, this aluminum lid, little Easter bunny there surrounded by a garland of vegetation, and with Bath & Body Works written on there as well. I have an inkling what this candle will be. I did give this a quick sniff before I purchased it. And based on the fragrance name, Easter Bouquet, I think I know what I'm in for. Now, the interesting part of florals for me in regards to candles is when I find those that I actually could burn without hurting or doing any damages to the sinuses, perpetuating those headaches. So let's see how intense this is and what spectrum of Easter bouquets or florals that they're speaking of here. Of course, the fragrance notes are on the bottom, but we'll address those at the end. Here we go. Wow. Okay. Just like the last, this candle is making the last candle. I said the last candle, Somebody Loves Me, was high intensity. This is intense. This is even higher. This is a high plus. Let's go there. And that's Bath & Body Works standards. But let's try to break this down. This is not, something like this is never going to be easy to really pick out the pieces. And I'll be honest, I'm never going to be 100% accurate, but I am getting some pretty specific cues in here. And let's get some out of the way that I won't talk about a lot, but I will say lilac for sure, hyacinth flower, and we might as well get these out of the way too. Lily of the Valley, or muguet. If you ever see muguet on a candle label or any product where they have fragrance notes, muguet is just essentially the French word of lily of the valley. Actually was just talking about stargazer lilies, and when they're fresh, how you can smell them from like a mile away. It's a very pungent floral smell, and pungent is not bad. Because if we love aggressive florals, this is going to be your cup of tea. Absolutely, very, very aggressive. But really, the first thing that came to my mind wasn't lily of the valley, stargazer lily, lilac. It was more of the green qualities of springtime, of the grass and the vegetation. There's a lot of green in here, and it's easy to be fooled, right, or to ignore that, because we have this bright white jar, even bright white wax, and I'll be more specific. The dandelions. I was also just talking about this, dandelions. We all have that experience of walking into the meadow, the spattering of those dandelions in the field, and you pop one of those heads off the dandelion and you run your finger down the stem and you get the little curls. You've done that, right? But inside that stem, we have the dandelion milk, this milky substance that is incredibly aromatic. And this is, at least for me, like the definitive smell of spring. If you ever try to like recreate those moments, take a dandelion, sacrifice one, rip it open, and smell it. Even the blossom itself. Very green smell. And by green, I just mean chlorophyll rich. I usually say wheatgrass juice that we get at Jamba Juice, you know, if we've ever taken one of those shots before. Totally an emotional thing when I smelled that. When I was a kid, we would leave the windows of our house open, and, you know, through the screens of the window, you would just get that smell. That's that green, grassy, dandelion-rich aroma. The name of this candle, Spring Has Sprung. I mean, you couldn't be more appropriate. It couldn't be more appropriate than that. A lot of people would describe this candle as having an aromatic of tulip in it. And I'm pretty sure tulip is in the fragrance notes. Maybe that's where I'm coming up with this. But tulips do have an aromatic profile. But again, it's one of those things that's a visual cue. Tulips can be fruity, and they can smell very green, and they can smell pungent. But if tulips is a description on this candle, at least consider that, consider to take my word that it smells very dandelion forward. But we do get those other florals as well. Now, there's a refreshing aspect to this candle. It's very hard because now we have to take all of this floral muskiness, this powdery musk. And powder's not a bad thing. Powdery musk, not a bad thing at all. Musk made from florals usually smells powdery, like white musk. We really have to put that aside to evaluate if there's anything else in here. And I want to make sure I dig deep. And what is coming to my mind is not something specific at the moment, but refreshing. And if I'm thinking refreshing, what is green that's refreshing? I think I already got what I'm going to say, but it takes a little bit of time. And if you have this candle, see if you can find it, because this is one of those little nuances that if you're not a candle geek like I am, or like we are, a lot of people would maybe miss something like this. But there is this cucumber meat aroma, and even the skin. So there's this gentle, very mild melon quality with that little bit of extra chlorophyll green. You know, let's say we slice up that cucumber with the skins, and we make cucumber water. Throw those cucumbers into a pitcher of water, let it sit for a while. If you haven't done it, it's super refreshing. It makes it feel a little bit cool, a little bit chilly. Like the sun is warm, but we're having that cool spring breeze. You know, floral candles that are all, you know, warm tropical orchid and you know, they can provoke in our minds, you know, subconsciously the idea of heat. Where when I smell this, you know, I kind of find that there is this balance of warmth and a little bit of coolness. And I wonder if that means, and I'm going to go there, if there's a little bit of a mintiness, a spearmint, not, I wouldn't say eucalyptus at all. It's not that herbal, but maybe just a touch of mint or menthol. I'm telling you, when I'm saying these last few things here, I don't mean that these elements are super obvious. I mean, they're tucked under the surface, but this is how we build authenticity, or at least how these candle companies build authenticity, and this is how they create complexity as well. I could see a little bit of a peachiness or a nectarine nuance here. Again, not something that's going to jump out at you, but having a little bit of that fruitiness softens this up, introduces a kind of creamy, candy, child-friendly aroma that doesn't make this a green monster, a green bomb. You know, green grass, fresh cut grass, clover, all of those things. You know, we've all smelled those candles before. They're beautiful, if that's your thing, but that's not what this is. You know, this is very floral, has green, but it has some delicate nuances to it. And I think it's very important that I mention that, because that's what's going to separate this candle from, again, those green monsters. Bath & Body Works Spring has sprung Easter Bouquet. Let's check out the fragrance notes on the bottom of this candle. Easter Bouquet of Lilies, Pink Tulips. I didn't call that. I think I saw that on this jar when I was purchasing it. Blooming Roses. Absolutely. You know, that's something I feel like I should have addressed. But then again, it's not necessarily, to me, the rose petals, it's the rose stems. That's where we get the strong chlorophyll green floral. But also, I did say muskiness, and usually, you know, when we talk about roses, there's a significant musk. So I will say, yeah, Blooming Roses, I think, is a perfectly accurate thing to describe this candle as. Just don't think of this as like a really heavy, thick, rosy candle that almost smells like leather musk. You know, it's much more bright and fruity and gentle. But with that said, very high intensity candle. Smelling this on cold sniff. I know a lot of people are gonna love burning that candle. It's a bit aggressive for me, but you know, you put this in your kitchen window, throw that window pane open, light this, let that breeze come in, and as that breeze comes in through your window, let it pull in this smell that's so synonymous with spring, and let it swirl and sway inside your kitchen and your household. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. We still have one more Easter Bath & Body Works candle to talk about, but we're going to save that for the next video. T-shirts, apparel, merchandise. Shop the Candle Enthusiast goodies at shop.spreadshirt.com/thecandleenthusiast. All of the ways you can support the channel in the description below. Thanks again, folks. I will be talking to you soon, but until then, be good, will ya?